What's up, guys? So I'm embarrassed that I have to make this video, but I made a really big oversight and I'd like to clear things up in this video. So first of all, thank you to everybody who commented on my last video pointing out what I had missed. So for those of you who didn't see my previous video, I covered two different puzzles. They were mate and threes, and the second one that we looked at was this position right here. It's white to play and win in 3 moves. White's going forward, black is going this way. All of these pawns are about to become queens, and I totally missed a key feature in this position. So what I'm going to do is re-explain this position in case you didn't catch that last video, and also point out the very nice feature that I totally missed last time. So I do apologize, but I'm going to clear things up right now. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so before we get started, if you'd like to pause and you haven't already seen this, go ahead and do that. Like I said, white to play and win in 3 moves. These pawns are going this way and black is going down here. And after you've had a chance to look at that, I'll explain it one more time. All right, well, if you had a chance to do that, the first interesting thing about this puzzle is that all of these pawns can become queens, and they all play a specific role in preventing the most obvious way to checkmate black's king. So if we look at the king, it's trapped, it cannot move, and if we could check it somehow back here, for example, pushing this pawn and getting a queen or a rook, pushing this pawn, getting a queen or a rook, or even using one of our rooks, maybe something like this, it would be checkmate. But the problem is every time we try to do that, black gets a queen and prevents us. If we push the pawn now, black simply takes it, right? And regardless of which pawn we push, the same thing is going to happen. Black gets a different queen. All right, if we jump over to the rooks, we have a couple of ways we could try to use the rooks, the first one being this one. Again, black is able to get a queen and prevent us. And if I go here, I can capture this pawn trying to come in this way, but again, black gets a queen, prevents us. And also the last little trick here, I could capture this guy with the idea that if black takes, I have checkmate. But again, black does the same thing here, gets a queen, and it prevents the immediate checkmate. So because of that, we have to find another way to checkmate the king. And what I had showed you guys last time was that it was the move king to f6. And the point here is that we wanted to bring the knight over and deliver the checkmate on g6. And I talked about how if black makes a random move like this, you know, we play knight e7, checkmate is happening and black can't prevent it. There was one move that I did cover. If this pawn gets a queen and we try the same thing, now black actually takes the rook and prevents the checkmate, because if we try to do it, the queen can sacrifice and it delays the game. Actually, black is winning in that position. And so in this case, you had to go knight to g7 and come over to e6, okay? And in the previous video, this is where I ended. I said, okay, that's it. Great puzzle. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Totally missed, okay, one of the cool features of this puzzle, and it's that black can move this rook anywhere over here. Let's just take this move, for example. And if we try to do the same plan, actually either of these plans, let's just say this one, coming over to g6, black now has the move f8 queen, which puts us in check, prevents the checkmate in 3, and ruins the whole idea, right? And the same thing would happen if we tried to move over here and come for this checkmate again. Black gets the queen, puts us in check, right? This was a key feature of this puzzle, and so I apologize for completely missing it, but it's actually really cool. So if you'd like to pause, how do we win the game now, knowing what black's plan is? Black is planning to, you know, when we move the knight, get a queen, put us in check. Sorry, put us in check. So how do we win? Go ahead and try to think through that. All right, well, if you had a chance to look at that, the way that we win is actually switching plans. So instead of continuing with the knight, we go back to the other plan. Remember before I had talked about like trying to push a pawn or trying to use a rook? Depending on where black moves this rook, we can switch to that particular plan. And what do I mean by that? In this case, since the rook is on the A file, we're going to go rook to A4, coming down here for the checkmate. You remember how black prevented that last time? They got a queen, right? Look at the rook blocking that from happening. And so now black doesn't have that option. They can get a queen over here, but it doesn't help them. This is simply checkmate, right? And regardless of where this rook moves to, we have a different solution. So I just showed you the one on A1. Now we have rook to B1. What do you think the solution is going to be here? Well, if you said push this pawn, you'd be correct, because now the only move that stopped that before was black got a queen. They can't, right? We get the queen. Doesn't really matter what black does. Same thing here on rook to c1. You can figure out now we're going to push this pawn, right? Because there's no queen that's going to control it. And then again, rook to d1. Now we can simply take the pawn. And again, black can't prevent it. And then on rook to e1, remember I showed you this little tactic here where we sacrifice. And if black takes, we have this. Again, black doesn't have the move to prevent, and next move, we simply, whatever black does, we simply get checkmate. So really cool feature, right? Like all of those checkmate threats, right? All the different ones with the pawns, with the rooks on these different files that black was able to prevent before. After we move our king over and black moves the rook somewhere, they don't become available, right, to black. And so really nice feature. I apologize that I missed that. I'm embarrassed, but thank you to everybody who noticed that and pointed that out. And so just wanted to clear things up, and I'll try to be a little more careful next time. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Stay sharp, play smart, take care.